And we're back to learning JavaScript on Exercism. This time I'm going to solve for you the triangle exercise right here. So we want to check if we have a triangle, and then we want to check what kind of triangle it is. There are 3 cases. Let's go over it in detail. A constructor is given and then a getter for our 3 cases. Constructor, I've used our sides. So this dot sides equal sides. Let's look at some tests, for example here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, and so forth. These are the sides that are given and we spread them out in our constructor. Now we want to check if we have a triangle to begin with. So here under node, the 2 conditions for it are given. First one is all sides have to be of length bigger than 0. So we use our sides right here. We sort them. So let's look at a test. Maybe this one, 4 is the smallest one. So this is the first one that we want, then 5 and 6. So we have to sort them to bring that in order, and we do so by using the sort method AB and then A minus B. So this brings the smallest one to the first position and the biggest one to the last. And for every of these sides, the specific side has to be bigger than 0. So its length has to be bigger, which is given here in the node. Second condition is the sum of the 2. So in our case, 4 and 5 have to be bigger than 6. So the 2 smaller sides have to be bigger as a sum than the last one. In other words, we could also write that our last side, the 6, has to be smaller than 4 plus 5 or equal. So it's always smaller or equal to. In our case, this is this dot sides at index 2, so 6. It has to be smaller or equal to this dot sides at index 0 plus this dot sides at index 1. Let me give this some parentheses and I check for typos. Let me delete the comment, we don't need it anymore. And I've made a typo. I'll write here, for example, so this has to be equal, not 0. So we're good. But this one should be sides, not side. We're checking the sides that we've used in our constructor here. But now everything should be fine. So the next step is to check if we have matching sides. Well, let me have a look at the instructions. I believe they've used a different word. It's the same side length. So let me use same sides here for my get. Again, we want to sort it first. So I can just copy paste this. And then we filter it, and we filter it 2 times. And afterwards we'll check its length. And we'll use the length to determine our 3 cases. So the first one is this equilateral, and all 3 sides have the same length. So length must be 3 here. In the second case, it must be at least 2. So at least 2 sides have the same length. And for the final, all 3 sides have different lengths. So let's get back to our same sides filter. We'll go through our sides and we'll check the specific side. And this would be this .sides.filter. I'll use a counter n. And if this is equal to side, we're going to use it. So by doing this, we'll check if the sides have the same length. And we need bigger or equal than 2. And this becomes clear when I go to our 3 cases. So let me run it first to check if I made a typo somewhere again. But it seems like I haven't. So now let's get to our 3 cases and you understand what this code did so far. So we'll return. At first we check if it is a triangle. And then we'll check for our same sides. And for this, we'll check if it has a length of 3. So if all 3 sides have the same length, these will be filtered, and then the dot length will result in 3. So for example, test 1 has 2, 2, 2. So in same sides, this would be filtered, and then we have a dot length of 3, and therefore is equilateral would return in true. Final case would be 0, so we can use this code line and just change 3 to 0. Let us check maybe test 15, we've got 5, 4, 6. So when we filter this in same sides, we would have a length of 0, and therefore is scalene would result in true. And the final one we turn should be equal to 2. But be careful, if we just run it like this, there is still one test that's open. And this is the case where equilateral are isosceles. I believe that's the way to pronounce it. But you could say that our first case, the equilateral, is also equal to our second case. So we need an OR right here. And once again add this code line and check if it's also equal to 3. And now we've passed them all. So this is how you can solve triangle on Exercism using JavaScript. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.